How's it going, guys? I'm Mike Dwyer from the Bunker Recordings and BetterMixes.com, and today I want to show you how you can make your own DIY subkick for like $5. Alright, so first off, what is a subkick? So basically, a dynamic microphone, like an SM57 for example, and a speaker are basically the exact same thing. The way they work is identical, just in reverse. And obviously, microphones are designed and optimized for capturing sound, while speakers are designed for reproducing sound, but the way they work is exactly the same. So, at some point, an engineer realized that you could wire up your speaker to act like a microphone. And engineers have been doing this for decades. The earliest example I personally know of is the Beatles used this trick, but countless engineers have used it ever since. What's interesting about using a subkick as opposed to a traditional microphone is because of how much mass there is in the speaker cone as compared to the diaphragm of a microphone, you get some interesting results. Mainly that the subkick really only picks up low frequencies. Exactly which frequencies it picks up depends on what speaker is used. But in general, it's really just picking up the very low end and sub frequencies, hence the name subkick. The most common use for a subkick, once again as the name implies, is on kick drum, but I've also seen it used on bass guitar cabs. So at some point, Yamaha started making a subkick that you could buy, but it's since been discontinued. But I saw that just recently, Aventone released one. However, it's $350, and to me that's kind of a lot for a subkick, because I built mine maybe 10 years ago or so for maybe $1. So I wanted to show you how easy it is to make your own. So this is my subkick. Like I said, I made this maybe 10 years ago or so, and I made it almost completely out of random stuff I found in my parents' basement, and just a couple of extra parts that I had to pick up. I'm about to mount this in a better way that makes it easier to place in front of the drum, but I want to make this video before I did that just to show you how ridiculously simple it is to make one, and the fact that you can make this out of literally anything. This is literally a speaker mounted in a cardboard box, so anybody can do this. Like I said, I'll tell you a better way to mount this because the cardboard box is not the greatest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. Alright, so what do you need to make your subkick? The main thing you need is a speaker. In my case, I'm using a subwoofer out of an old Sony stereo system, but you can literally use any speaker. I've seen people use guitar speakers, bass speakers, home stereo speakers, anything. Each speaker will give you a different sound, so it's worth experimenting a little bit to find something you like. But if you have an old speaker lying around, maybe in an old practice guitar amp or an old bookshelf speaker or something, give that one a shot. It might surprise you. So now that you've got your speaker, you need to figure out how to mount it so you can place it in front of a drum. Like I said, there's a million ways to do this, everything from an old cardboard box like I used, to mounting it in a drum shell similar to how the Yamaha one was. A couple of the more simple ways that I like, and what I'm going to try for mine, is one, just using an old snare stand. You just rotate the basket down so it's facing forward instead of up, and then tighten the claws to grab onto the speaker. Another cool method is to take an old mic clip and take the part that actually holds the mic off, separate that from the part that screws onto the stand. Then once you have that off, you can stick the screw here through one of the mounting holes on the speaker, and then you can mount it directly to a mic stand. You can also just leave it in the box it's in if it's already in some form of a box. Like I said, if you're using an old guitar amp, just leave it in the guitar amp. Similar to my cardboard box, that might be a little bit harder to get in front of the drum if you want it to be really close, but it still works, and it's a really easy way to try this if you just want to see how it sounds. So now you've got your speaker and you've got it mounted in some way. What you're going to need next is an XLR cable. So from there, cut off the end of the XLR that usually plugs into the microphone and strip the wires back. So you want to take the positive wire on your XLR, which is usually red, and solder that to the negative terminal on your speaker. You'll see there's a little plus and minus sign next to each solder point on the speaker. Then take your negative wire, which is usually white, and solder that to the positive terminal on the speaker. The reason we're flipping them like that is because the speaker was meant to reproduce sound and now we're having it pick it up. By flipping them, we'll probably have our phase correct. And then lastly, you can take the bare ground wire and solder that to the metal basket of the speaker. Alternatively, you can just clip that off and not worry about it. And just like that, you have yourself a subkick. Now, one thing to note is the output of subkicks is usually very hot, so it's possible it might overload your preamp, especially if your preamp doesn't have a pad on it, but even if it does have a pad, it still might be too hot. So what you need here is an inline pad. You can buy those online for like 10 or 15 bucks or something, or you can build it right into your subkick. All you need is 3 resistors for this. It's super easy to do. I will include a link in the comments down below to show you how to do that if you want to build that into your subkick. Like I said, it's super easy to do, and you can build it right into the solder points on your subkick. So now that you know how to build it, let's see how it sounds. Like I said, yours will probably sound a little different from mine just because you'll be using a different speaker than I did. But this will at least give you an idea of what to expect from a subkick. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you end up building your own subkick, let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to head on over to bettermixes.com to grab a free copy of my Ultimate EQ cheat sheet.